Hi guys, welcome back on my channel. Dorota Palicka, International Nail Artist and Educator here, and today we are going to do some Halloween design. It's going to be a little bit extreme, and you can have a wee preview in here how scary it is. Yeah, so that's a kind of realistic look spider, just with a little bit of the shadow and the gel painting. I hope you really enjoy watching this tutorial, but even more, if this tutorial get about 30,000 views, because that's how many subscribers we've got in this channel, and thank you so much for each of you for subscribing to this channel. If this tutorial get 30,000 views, I will post up also a Winter Wonderland one, where I will paint some nice scenery with some snows and a bridge and things like that. So keep sharing this video, and this way the others will be able to see it as well, and you'll receive like an extra bonus tutorial with the advanced nail art. But let's start painting this creepy spider. So that's this super cool spider, and I will just prepare my gels first. So we are going to use the paint on gels, and that's the foil design gel. It's a really nice, highly pigmented black. Now I want one scoop for the spider and then a smaller scoop for the mixture, because we're going to need different shades. Actually, maybe one more even. We're also going to need some red color. I'm just going to use the Color Plus gels. Not a big drop, just a tiny one. And we're going to need some white. And for white, I'm using the Paint on French gel. So for white, I want one scoop, and then I want the one which we're going to use for the gray. Might actually mix it already, some different shades of gray. Okay, clean it, and yeah, now we can start painting our super cool spider. I'm using the D-liner brush. It's a really nice and fine brush for the detail work. So I'm going to start with the body of the spider, and it's going to be actually a top coat as well. So a few drops of the top coat. Okay, now that's me already. So first of all, I'm going to start painting the body of the spider. I'm thinking about the butterflies. So his head is going to be kind of in the middle, just so we can squeeze the legs. So right in the middle, we are going to paint the head. This is going to be a really time-consuming design, because we want to get it as realistic as possible. So this is going to be my head indication first. And now the body. So he has pretty decent sized body. Like, that's those kind of spiders which are pretty scary. And I can start coloring it in. So I wanted it to be kind of 3D, and we will add all those shadows so it does really look like it's standing on the top of the tip. I'm really perfecting the shape, like I wanted it to be so nice and pretty. Now the head. this kind of a triangle shape. And the body slightly bigger. So it's a nice chunky one. Okay, I can just give it a flash cure. And first of all, we are going to paint it same like I always do, so a splash of the color, and then by adding the detail and more detail and more detail, we are going to make the things much nicer. Okay, so I'm going to start adding more detail into his head. So he's going to have like an balls shape-ish places where his legs are coming from. So 3 of them. And then another 2 small balls. Okay, give it a flash cure. This is such a small detail that we want to really cure it before we add the next step. My next step is to dip in my brush in a kind of gray color. There is hardly any product on my brush, like hardly any product on my brush. And I'm going to add those lighting in there, same on the balls part. Okay, clean my brush. I'm going to add also the same lighting on his face. You can see this is almost like because we're painting such a small picture, there's hardly any product in there. It's just to add some lighting. Also in his head there is going to be a drop of red. And now the body. So in the body I want to indicate the place where the spider kind of separates the head from the body, and this is going to be a V line. Okay, so this way we can see it, where is the head and where is the body. I also want to add those red. And another one. So by adding those red color, you can kind of tell it is an endangered spider. Really danger one. Actually, they would be a cool spider with the skull on his back as well. I'm cleaning my brush in between each uses. Okay, now I'm just going to make the body a little bit larger, just because it has to be a decent size. You know, otherwise it wouldn't be too scary spider if it would have too small body. So it's a full of food which he had already. I'm going to give it a flash cure. And we can start indicating the places where the legs are going to be as well. Okay, so the first leg is going to be a really nice and long one. So we have created those balls, and this leg is coming out from the ball. The first part is pretty nice and chunky. Then there is a joint, which is like a wee dot. And another part of the leg, pretty chunky again. And a joint place. So like a small ball. Joint place, and now is standing so straight. Okay, so that's the first leg. Now we are going to paint another one. So again, coming out from those wee balls, pretty chunky first. A small dot, which is a join. Again, pretty chunky. And a dot. Again, chunky. And just the tip of the leg. So really nice and fun. Okay, so we have created two ugly legs. Now we have to paint another leg. And this leg is coming from the next ball. And this one is really decent size one. So make it pretty thick. Going thinner. A wee ball place. And make this leg to kind of bend. And again, chunkier. And then the small tip. Okay, so this way we can see the legs are kind of nice and bendy. I'm going to paint another leg. So we've got those three balls in here. And again, it's pretty nice and chunky. Bend it, dot, and just the tip. Okay, I'm going to give it a flash cure just so it does freeze the product in case if something goes wrong, like I don't want to waste all the work I have created. So couple seconds cure. And now we are going to paint the legs on the other side. So again, very chunky. And then thinner. Okay, so we've got another leg. And the one on the back. So nice and chunky. Join place. Let it bend. And another join place. Okay, so we've got another leg. And the ones which are on the going to the back, so they are kind of, the body is kind of covering them a little bit. So very chunky. They're the strongest legs. Nice and chunky. And the same. So you can almost see the places where they join, like you want them kind of break through. Now give it a couple seconds cure. And we have to add all the detail and the shadow. The shadow is going to be the most important one. So I'm start preparing my shadow. And for the shadow, I've got on my mixing palette top coat. And I've got a tiny bit of the black. So I want different strand of this shadow. Perfect. So that's my... I'm going to clean my brush. And we are going to paint the first shadow on this leg. I've got too much product. So it's starting exactly where the leg is, and it kind of follows the shape of the leg first. And then it separates from the leg. And it goes all the way through behind the body. Okay, so that's a first shadow, and you can see it, it looks almost like the spider is lifting from the tip. I might actually make this one a little bit bigger. Okay, and then cook it. So a couple seconds freeze. Clean the brush in between. We still have to add lots of details on the face of the spider and on the body of the spider. So I'm going to take my gray white-ish, like hardly any product on it, like really hardly any product. Can even mix it with the top coat so it's not as strong. And you know, those places where we had those balls, I want to add those light reflection. And I want to also add the light reflection on the spider legs as well. I'm not sure if the camera can really catch it. Yes, ish.
Too close.
Too close, okay. Cameraman is checking with me. On this one, it will be more visible. There we are. Okay, so just like a wee light reflection. I've got hardly any product on my brush. Now, guys, just a reminder, keep sharing this video, because obviously if it hits really those 30,000 views, I know it's a lot to ask, but I will be doing more of those kind of realistic tutorials for you. It's just so I've got a bit more motivation. And those light reflection really change a lot, like it's kind of give it even more 3D look to the spider. I know it's a pretty time-consuming process, but I think this spider is just super cool because of it. So I've got really just the smallest drops of the products on my brush. Okay, again, more detail into his face. So another light reflection. And we also need to do some light reflection on his body, like to indicate that it is really rounded. And to make the rounded shape, I'm just going to kind of add it like on rounded lines. So first of all, I've got like some top coat mixed with the rest of the white paint which I've got left in there. You really want those roundness of the spider to be visible. Okay, drop of the black to blend that out. And this way you can see the curve of the body more. Now I'm just going to quickly clean it, my brush, and then take the white and go kind of much strong. Actually, I'm going to give it just a quick flash cure because I don't want to smudge the previous part I have painted. And now I can add the white reflections. So the smallest amount of the product on my brush, like really the smallest amount. And we are going to give a little shiny place to the around the red. It's even too strong. I have put the drop of the white of the red into my white. Sometimes white color on its own might be a little bit too strong. And then just go around those picture on his back. And some white to give those really nice shiny places. Okay, now I need to add more shadows to his legs. So I'm going back into my black mixed with the top coat. And we've got like this leg. So it's a pretty large leg, and I'm going to add this shadow. So basically we just follow the same shape as we have painted like when doing the legs. Okay. I have to give it a flash cure just so I can paint another leg. The one which is bended. So flash cure, and now we are painting the leg which is bended. It is pretty chunky one. And you need to make it join in with the original leg. Okay, this leg is just having a little shadow. And we need to also give it some shadow underneath of the body. And the shadow underneath of this leg. Give it a cure. Now we want to also add the shadow on those legs which are on the back. If something didn't work, or I think this one is a little bit too strong, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of the blue scrap and wipe it off. Okay. I want to just touch up some of these shadows. And give it a flash cure. Now I'm going to paint the part which is behind his back. Okay, so I have to kind of do a mirror picture of what we have painted. So nice rounded space. Give it a flash cure. Oh, maybe actually I make it more to the side. So I need to wipe a little bit. What else you could do is you could take a tiny bit of the blue scrap on your brush and clean it. Yeah, this position of the shadow is much better actually. Give it a cure. And the last one is really a leg, which we didn't paint it yet. So that's the shadow underneath of the big leg, which we've got up on the front. And give it a flash cure. Okay, I'm just checking if there is any more places I would like to touch up. So I'm just going to finish off his mouth a little bit nicer. And that's basically almost done. I will also make his body raised as well. So please guys, keep sharing this tutorial for me, because once we get the 30,000 views, because that's how many subscribers we've got, I'm going to post another advanced nail art video, and that will be a winter scenery. So whenever this video hits 30,000, I'm going to do that. This is just so it's more neon kind of color. I'm going to give it a flash cure. That's a cool spider, like a really nice one. So flash cure. And yeah, we are almost done. So what else I'm going to do it is I will add a little bit of the bulkiness into the body of the spider. And what I'm going to use is a soak of base gel. So I'm just taking a drop of the soak of base gel. And I'm going to encapsulate the part which is here. Just so it's more raised. Okay, give it a flash cure. And then after that we can apply the top coat. So I do really hope you have enjoyed this more kind of realistic tutorial. And if you did, please share so the others can see it. And so I will be able to do some winter scenery one for you as well. So whenever this video hits 30,000, I'm going to also post the video of the winter scenery. And that's kind of painting which I will show you as well. So now here on this one we are applying a top coat. I don't want any fluffy bits and pieces of this cool spider. And I really check how my top coat is applied as well, like how the light reflects on it. Okay, I think I'm happy with it. So that's the finished results, and that's the spider which we have painted. Yeah, I hope you have really enjoyed watching these tutorials, glittery hacks, and bye for now.